Okay, so you were in research and development, and so was that a lot of where this experience comes from, or what was the research and development? What did that entail? Like, was it, you're just doing research, obviously, but I mean, what was the end result? What was the goal?
Sure. Yeah, the goal is to be able to successfully forge these alloys. So we were putting in an isothermal press. Isothermal forging means that the workpiece, the thing you're forging, and the dies are at the same temperature. Requires all sorts of fancy technologies and techniques. The whole thing has to be under vacuum.
Right.
It's only needed for a handful of parts. So when you're starting from the ground up, you have to understand how the materials you're trying to forge behave at these temperatures and strain rates and all these things. So my job was to characterize the material's response. How is it going to respond to these temperatures, these strain rates, the way it's forged?
Yeah.
How is it going to how can we heat treat it? What kind of properties are we going to get? So it's a lot of testing. It's a lot of microscopy, a lot of analysis, and any person who's run their own dissertation experiments is equipped to do this, right? That's what engineering grad school is very practical in that you're becoming the expert on some question, some specific hypothesis, and you're writing a big paper that answers that, right? So you're doing all the investigation yourself, so determining what needs to be done, what techniques, all that. So I was coming out with a doctorate and coming from grad school, that was right in my wheelhouse.
Yeah. So what was the biggest challenge going from school to the workplace?
Well, some things got easier. I had more funding, right, in industry, but it was less. I was less the boss, right? There, I had one boss, and that was my thesis advisor. And if I could convince him that it was the right course of action, then and I could afford it, I was ready to go. There's significantly more numbers of bosses in
Yeah.
the industry, right? So
Mhm.
and a little bit less little less appetite for long timelines.
Okay, fair enough. It's got to be profitable, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's business. Okay, cool.